Get out and never come back.
Please, I can explain everything.
The day my wife smiled while telling me to leave the house was the same day every news website celebrated her as the newest business success story in the city. Cameras flashed outside our driveway, reporters praised her incredible achievement, and strangers called her an inspiration after she secured a $33 million business deal that promised to change her life forever. I stood on the front porch with nothing but a small duffel bag in my hand, watching the woman I had loved for 11 years close the door behind me without a single tear. What she didn't know was that only 3 days later, she would open the official contract one more time during a legal review, and on every important page, she would find my name printed where she had never expected it. That discovery would destroy every assumption she had made about me and force her to face a truth she could never erase. Before we continue, if you believe kindness, loyalty, and second chances still matter in today's world, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Kindness Echo. Your support helps us bring more heartfelt stories like this to life. Ethan Mercer had never cared about being the center of attention. While his wife, Vanessa Holloway, dreamed of leading boardrooms, appearing in business magazines, and building a powerful company, Ethan quietly preferred working behind the scenes. He believed that the strongest foundations were usually invisible, just like the roots of the tallest trees. He had spent years as a corporate legal strategist, helping startups survive complicated negotiations without ever asking for recognition. When Vanessa decided to launch her own technology consulting firm, Ethan became her greatest supporter. He worked long nights reviewing contracts after finishing his own demanding job. He connected her with reliable advisors, introduced her to ethical investors, and spent countless weekends building spreadsheets while she prepared presentations. Friends admired Vanessa's confidence, but rarely noticed the silent sacrifices Ethan made to keep everything together. As the company slowly grew, success changed Vanessa in ways neither of them noticed at first. The excitement of winning new clients slowly became an obsession with status. Every achievement pushed her to chase an even bigger one. Luxury dinners replaced simple family evenings. Expensive clothes replaced the comfortable sweaters Ethan had always loved seeing her wear. Conversations became shorter, colder, and focused almost entirely on numbers, profits, and reputation. Ethan tried to remind her that peace at home mattered more than applause from strangers, but his words were dismissed as the opinions of someone who simply lacked ambition. Deep inside, he feared he was losing the woman who once believed that success meant having someone to hold your hand at the end of a difficult day. Everything changed when Vanguard International approached Vanessa's company with the opportunity of a lifetime. The proposed partnership was worth $33 million. It would transform her small business into one of the fastest-growing firms in the industry. The negotiations lasted for months. Vanessa believed she was carrying the entire burden alone, never realizing that Ethan spent many sleepless nights studying every clause of the agreement. Whenever hidden legal risks appeared, he quietly prepared solutions and anonymously submitted recommendations through the consulting team. He never wanted praise. He only wanted her dream to survive. The day the agreement was finally signed, photographers surrounded Vanessa outside the corporate headquarters. She smiled confidently while announcing that hard work and determination had brought her to this incredible moment. Ethan watched the celebration from a distance, genuinely proud despite never hearing his own name mentioned. He believed they would celebrate together that evening, just like they had celebrated every small victory years before. Instead, Vanessa arrived home surrounded by executives and advisors who congratulated her continuously. Their conversations made Ethan feel like a stranger inside his own house. After everyone left, Vanessa looked around the living room with an expression he had never seen before. It wasn't happiness. It was superiority. She calmly explained that their lives were moving in different directions. She claimed she had outgrown him. She insisted she needed people who matched her new level of success. She even suggested that he had benefited from her accomplishments rather than the other way around. Before Ethan could gather the right words, she handed him a folder containing separation papers prepared days earlier. Every signature line had already been highlighted. She asked him to leave quietly, so the media would never discover personal problems that could damage her public image. Ethan didn't argue. He simply packed a few clothes, took one old photograph from their happier years, and walked away without looking back. Neighbors watched silently from behind their windows, while luxury cars continued arriving to congratulate Vanessa. None of them realized that the man walking away had been the invisible architect behind much of her success. For 3 days, Ethan disappeared from public view. He rented a small room above an old bookstore owned by an elderly couple who recognized sadness without asking questions. During the mornings, he helped organize dusty shelves and carried heavy boxes simply to keep his mind busy. Every evening he wondered whether kindness had been mistaken for weakness. Yet even through heartbreak, bitterness never entered his heart. He believed that truth had a strange way of revealing itself when the time was right. On the third morning, Vanguard International scheduled one final legal review before releasing the first payment. Their senior legal department carefully examined every page of the massive agreement, ensuring complete compliance with international regulations. Vanessa attended confidently, expecting another routine meeting before celebrating her greatest achievement. Then one attorney quietly paused. He turned another page. Then another. Every major legal amendment contained the signature notation of the external legal strategist responsible for identifying financial liabilities and restructuring the protection clauses. The same name appeared repeatedly. Prepared by Ethan Mercer. Every appendix. Every revised clause. Every intellectual property protection. Every liability shield. Every emergency arbitration provision. His name was everywhere. Confused, Vanessa interrupted the meeting and insisted there had to be some mistake. The lead attorney gently explained that without Ethan Mercer's extensive legal revisions, the contract would never have passed compliance standards. Several international risks would have exposed her company to lawsuits capable of destroying the entire deal within months. Vanguard had specifically requested that his recommendations remain confidential until the agreement became fully enforceable because of professional confidentiality policies. They considered his legal work one of the primary reasons they trusted the partnership. The room became painfully silent. Vanessa felt the air leave her lungs. She remembered every night Ethan had stayed awake reviewing documents, while she assumed he was simply answering ordinary work emails. She remembered the weekends he canceled with friends because he claimed he was too busy. She remembered every quiet smile he gave whenever she celebrated another milestone. Suddenly she realized those smiles had hidden exhaustion, sacrifice, and unconditional love. For the first time in years, applause from strangers meant absolutely nothing. She rushed home hoping Ethan had returned. The closet was empty. His favorite coffee mug was gone. The small wooden picture frame from their honeymoon had disappeared. Only silence remained. Over the following days, Vanessa searched everywhere. She contacted old friends, former colleagues, and mutual acquaintances. Many were polite, but none offered much sympathy. Several quietly admitted they had always admired Ethan more than they admired her, because he treated everyone with respect regardless of their position. That truth hurt even more than loneliness itself. Meanwhile, Ethan continued helping at the bookstore. The elderly owner often watched him recommend books to children, repair damaged shelves, and carry groceries for elderly customers without expecting payment. Kindness remained part of who he was because it had never depended on how others treated him. One rainy afternoon, Vanessa finally found him there. She stood outside for several minutes, watching through the window as Ethan smiled while helping a little boy choose his very first adventure novel. The child hugged the book tightly before running toward his mother, with excitement shining in his eyes. Ethan smiled the same gentle smile Vanessa had once fallen in love with years ago. For the first time since their separation, she truly saw him. Not as someone standing behind her success. Not as someone living in her shadow. But as a man whose quiet generosity had changed countless lives without demanding recognition. She walked inside carrying the heavy weight of regret. Tears filled her eyes as she realized wealth had purchased expensive offices, elegant suits, and public admiration, but it had cost her the one person who had loved her before success ever arrived. Ethan listened patiently as she apologized. She admitted her pride had blinded her. She confessed she had confused attention with happiness and achievement with personal worth. Every sentence became harder than the one before because each word forced her to confront the person she had become. Ethan accepted her apology with calm compassion, but forgiveness did not erase consequences. Some bridges could be repaired only slowly, one honest step at a time. He explained that love required respect long before it required celebration. He wished her healing, wisdom, and peace, whether their paths ever crossed again or not. Months passed. Vanessa transformed her company culture completely. She created scholarship programs for young entrepreneurs from struggling families. She established mental health support for employees. Every leadership seminar she attended included one lesson she never stopped repeating. She reminded audiences that behind every successful person often stands someone whose sacrifices remain invisible. She encouraged business leaders never to overlook quiet loyalty while chasing loud applause. Ethan eventually opened a non-profit legal foundation that provided free legal assistance to small business owners who could never afford experienced representation. Volunteers admired his humility, and struggling families found hope through his work. His reputation spread naturally, not because he sought fame, but because genuine kindness always finds its own voice. Years later, people often asked Vanessa about the greatest lesson of her career. They expected her to describe billion-dollar negotiations or leadership strategies. Instead, she always smiled sadly before saying that the most valuable contract she ever signed was the one that taught her the true price of taking a loyal heart for granted. Money could build companies, but only kindness could build a meaningful life. If this story has touched your heart, please like this video, share it with your family and friends, leave a comment, and subscribe to Kindness Echo. Your support allows us to continue sharing stories that remind the world why compassion still matters. Special request. Before the story ends, please comment. Kindness always wins. If you believe loyalty and respect are worth more than money or success.